Good morning, dear viewers, and welcome to a new episode of your daily program, Good Morning Kuwait. This is your host, Amal Al-Mulla, coming to you from Ministry of Information, downtown Kuwait. And before we start our amazing episode for today, how about I greet my colleague Abdulaziz. Hello and good morning, Abdulaziz.
Good morning to you, good morning working crew, and good morning everyone, and welcome to the show Good Morning Kuwait. As usual, we'll share with you a variety of segments and even civil repos, and also in our episode we'll have a distinguished guest who's gonna join us. We'll talk about different perspective. But before everything, Emma, let's talk about something important: how to stay hydrated and fit during summer season.
Water, if I can say that, or as the Brits always say, water, a cup of water would be really nice for each and every one of us, especially because we forgot sometimes. We drink coffee, we drink tea, we have a lot of, let's say, juices, but we forget to drink water.
It's most important liquids. We have always to stay hydrated during the summer season, especially don't forget also to eat some kind of fruits which contains water, such as watermelon, and always keep an eye and also how to work out and check the weather, because if you want to do outdoor workout early morning or evening time.
Our community institutions determine the most effective and beneficial ways to support us and our families. Well, ideally, policies and practices are informed by the latest and most accurate research findings. And how do researchers decide what to study? And once their findings are in, how can they ensure the information reaches people who can use it? Historically, researchers, community practitioners, and policymakers do their jobs separately, often relying on their own isolated knowledge and traditions. That's a big problem. Translational research, we'll call it TR for short, solves that problem by involving multiple parties in the research and implementation process. Here's how it works. Practitioners, or community or government agencies, inform research design by alerting researchers to their needs and providing their real-world knowledge. Researchers design studies and advise these groups about their latest findings and research methods, so communities both receive and understand up-to-date, evidence-based findings they can put directly into policy and practice. The beauty of the TR process is that TR can be applied to any field of study, any community program, or any legislative endeavor. Did you know that on average it takes 17 years for research findings to reach communities? Thankfully, TR greatly speeds up that process by linking practice, policy, and research for maximum impact. And TR findings are more likely to be implemented because they matter to communities and policymakers. At the Bronfenbrenner Center for Translational Research at Cornell University, we study the process of TR, training researchers from across the world in TR methods. And we house numerous research projects putting TR in action to improve lives. Check out our website at bctr.cornell.edu to see how we do translational research to solve human problems.
Welcome back, dear viewers. We are in Good Morning Kuwait, and we love to meet a lot of, let's say, influential people who take us a step further to know more about the languages and translation major. And it is one of the most sought after majors by students and scholars. And this is because of the huge advantages that this major provides to its students. This specialization provides its graduates or holders with lucrative salaries, and percentage of demand by employers for these specializations is large and increasing. Most companies and various factories need translators for their work. So many students want to enroll in languages and translations. So during our meeting with our guest today, we will talk about all the details about the specialty of languages and translation, and we will also discuss its most important advantages and disadvantages, if there is any, and the fields of work available in the labor market. We are pleased to have with us Dr. Asma Ludhaim, Assistant Professor of Translation at GUST. Hello and good morning.
Good morning to you too. Thank you for having me.
It is great honor and always a wonderful
Thank
time
you.
to have you with us, Doctor.
Thank
Dr.
you.
Asma, we were talking off the air about how important is the specialty of languages,
Yes, it
especially
is.
in translation.
It is, yeah. It's actually now one of the most wanted jobs because, like I always say, you'll always find a translator, you'll always find someone to communicate language, someone to communicate meaning in the best way possible rather than Google translation, to communicate culture as well. So it's not just about science, it's also about culture, it's about meaning, it's about transferring even feelings in movies and plays and novels.
As you said it, transferring feelings.
Yes.
This is the core of it. We are talking about somewhere that I have listened to a lot of translators. I have listened to a lot of languages translations into majors from Arabic to English, from English to Arabic, or other languages at the same time. There are several translators, not
correct.
just in a specific area. So the next generation, if we can say that, they are into the, let's say, foreign language, non-Arabic languages, and they want to study that field, but sometimes they get stuck in subconsciously telling them that, well, what are you going to be when you study that field? So tell us more.
Well, basically, when it comes down to languages, there is no boundaries really. The sky is your limit, because you can be working in the medical field and then writing, translating in the medical field. You can work basically in plays and rewriting. So we have people who are actually content writer and they are translators as well, because they are equipped in 2 languages. They're bilingual in 2 languages. So they are able to actually criticize or produce plays and novels, short stories in both languages simultaneously, because they know both languages, both cultures as well. We also have people who are actually very good in marketing and advertisement, and those people are now in high demand, amazing salaries, because again, they're people who can actually create advertisement in both of the languages. So the company will be thinking, why should I hire 2? One who will produce in one language and then the other. I will hire a translator who can be equally good in 2 languages and then produce the advertisement in 2 different languages. So there is a huge demand in every single way in the society now.
That is so true. Well, for a fact, I know that even in the, let's say, the jurisdictional system, the lawyers need a little bit of translation in those contracts they put all the time. And we were talking also about something that a lot of, let's say, translators think is easy. But it is not that much of an easy. That is the direct translators.
If it's easy, it means it's wrong.
Okay. So
if it's easy, if it's easy, then it's done. If it's, if you actually do the translation in less than 30 minutes, then that means there is something wrong. Because grammatically, and then you have to actually read your translation with fresh eyes to be able to proofread it and then to make it actually suitable to the culture that you are translating it to. Because even when it comes down, let's say, to legal terms, they are easy because there is a legal term here and then the translation of it, but there are different systems. So if you go to the States, it's different than in Kuwait, different than the UK. So you'll have to be able to know these systems and then be able to see where does it fit and how do you translate it in a way that it actually fits that particular language and that particular society or that that particular crime or court or whatever it is.
So AI, if we can come to that, a lot of also, let's say people are saying, well, AI is doing all the job nowadays.
Yeah.
Is it?
No, it's not. I actually tried it because sometimes the students tell me, why should I be a translator? You know, AI is doing my job. And I'm like, okay, let's try this together. And then I give them a sentence, sometimes sentences like from, you know, movies and cultural rather than the scientific ones, because they are very straightforward. So I give them like TV shows or something to translate. And then the translation is just gibberish. Because the problem with AI, it doesn't understand context, it doesn't understand culture, it only understands specific meaning and one particular meaning for the word. It won't have more than one meaning. But as a human, you have the brain to be able to actually choose which one is the right meaning. So I tried it so many times, it actually gave me a headache because I can't even understand the language it actually translates to.
Well, I can relate to that. One day I've been to one of the supermarkets and I have been looking for some kind of spice, and it is called in Arabic darsin.
Yeah.
And so in the translation it means that someone put an AI, it called that spice called students.
Yeah.
And it was really a funny thing that okay, it's students. You add a little bit of students to the stew and it would be smelling. But that is the kind of translation that we can find in there, right?
Yeah, because a lot of companies, especially small companies or people that can't really afford a translator, or they think that I don't really need a translator, then they will just use AI. And because the people are not really equipped with the translation skills, they will just be satisfied with whatever translation they get. And then you will see so many different mistakes. Sometimes even mistakes that doesn't make sense, like common sense wise it doesn't make sense, like Darsin and students. So just put a little bit of students in there.
The stew, and you would get a very nice, well-educated stew.
Exactly. So that's one of the issues that we have, that sometimes a lot of people resort to AI or Google Translation because it's easier, because it's cheaper, because it's free, rather than hire a professional translator who will do the job in the perfect way.
And this is the advantages. So how about the disadvantages of studying translation, if you can say, if there is any?
I was about to say, if there is any, maybe to be actually a critique of different styles, I would say, of people pronunciations, people writing styles, because you're always thinking about translation at the back of your head. So at the end of the day, you'll always try to correct this person, and that gives you really a headache. Also, another issue is that you need to constantly be able to update yourself. It's like a dictionary. If you use a 2005 dictionary, you won't find so many different words, even words related to COVID, for example, or AI, or you know, the new generation of computing. However, if you use a 2019, you might have some of them. And then if you use a newer dictionary, you will find everything. And that's the same case with us as humans. Because you are a translator, you will need to constantly update your glossary, update your terminology, update yourself with the new, let's say, techniques of translation, the new words that are in the field, if you are in a particular field like medical or legal. So that's a struggle, because you have to constantly actually study, let's say.
This is an advantages, if I can say. And there, we couldn't find any advantages, so we took the advantages and gave you a little bit of headache with them. But Doctor, I know that in regard with language teaching in Kuwait University, how do you find the youth's interest, if you can say, in that sector? I know a lot of students really study, let's say, the foreign language from an early age, and after 12 years of studying that language, they go to the university, and during that time they say, okay, I'm gonna go into arts, and I'm gonna specialize in, let's say, literature or education or anything like in translations or anything. So how do you find those interests in the
I actually see a lot of students now, they're very much interested in translation and interpreting per se. We opened the interpreting lab in GUST, and what I noticed is that so many students actually signed up into the program just to be able to interpret and use the interpreting booth, which is a really advantage for us, because we do want an educated generation of translators, an educated generation of interpreters. And I have I've noticed that many of them are actually already establishing their career paths. Some of them will say, I want to be a political interpreter.
Okay.
Some of them will say, I want to be a subtitler, because we have subtitling software. So some of them are actually very good. They would choose very old TV shows like Khalti Gmasha,
Yes.
and like Buhabbash, or and I'm really surprised, because these are very difficult shows to translate, and then they will actually do the subtitling, and they do it very well.
Wow.
So they actually have their career paths already set. They know what they want, and they're actually very good. And some of them, just to add up to whatever they're doing, they go outside the university or outside Kuwait, specializing in another third language, so they will be equipped in English, Arabic, and another third language.
Wow.
Like some of them studied Korean, some of them Turkish, and they're actually very good at it. And it's surprisingly, they enjoy it. So that's actually a very good thing, that we do have a generation of amazing translators and interpreters in Kuwait.
This is really good news, because
Yeah.
a lot of us were thinking, okay, what's the future of the translation or interpreters? And I know that, like Ministry of Information here,
Yes.
we need a lot of interpreters, especially
Yes.
direct interpreters, because
Yes.
during any kind of, let's say, sports activities or
Yeah.
any
Yeah.
event,
Yeah.
we need someone to
Exactly.
translate
Yeah.
directly to the people
Yes.
who
Yeah.
are hearing it.
Yes, exactly.
So
Yeah.
about that, live interpreters,
Yeah.
tell us more about that, because I know those. I would love to talk more about the subject of the lab that Dr. Asma you have put in
Yeah.
together, and I'm so proud of you
Thank
for
you very
giving
much.
us those
Thank you
labs.
very much.
But tell us more about it.
Well, basically, the interpreting is completely different sector and completely different practice and career than translation. Because at the end of the day, when you are a translator, you can sit at your own house in your comfort zone and make whatever mistakes you want. No one is going to judge you. You can actually fix these mistakes, and you can have someone else to proofread for you and all of that at your comfort with your cup of tea.
Yes.
But when you're in the interpreting booth, it's like everyone's eyes are on you, and sometimes those guests are important people in the society. Sometimes they are presidents, sometimes they are ministers. So you need to actually be able to present yourself in the best way possible and not to make mistakes, which is impossible for humans, because you are listening to someone speak, trying to understand, and at the same time trying to verbalize it in another language, and as fast as you can. So you will be really stuttering a lot. Sometimes you will be pronouncing ingrammatical sentences, sometimes words that makes no sense. I remember once I said flood that instead of floods. It's sometimes you make these mistakes. So there is really no way of getting out of it. But the more you practice, the better you get. And that's what we try to give the students. So I try to put so many different documents for them. Sometimes the speeches, like the Emir speech recently, and I'm like, go ahead, go in the booth, go try. Some of them excel, like from the first time, and some of them struggle, but within time you can actually see their progress. Because when it comes down to translation and interpreting, if you don't practice, you will lose it.
This is so practice.
Yes, that's what I actually tell them. Practice.
So it's the key word, if we can say,
Yes.
practice, and keep yourself up to date with everything. Well, Dr. Asma, it has always a great pleasure and a wonderful time to talk to you and listen to you talk to us about the latest, that is. And you know something, no matter what, no matter how excel you are in something, if you didn't practice, if you didn't be up to date with your information, you're not going to be that much of a good for anyone, even yourself. A great thanks to you, Doctor, for being here.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
A great thanks to our guest today, Dr. Asma Al-Duhaim, Assistant Professor of Translation at GASP. And how about a quick break, then continue. Good morning, Kuwait.
We are back to our show again. Good morning, Kuwait. The Digital Village Initiative Knowledge Exchange DVIKE is the regional platform and database of the digital solutions, initiatives, and even the villagers, covering the whole of the agri-food systems in Asia and also the Pacific region, my colleague Emil.
That is so true. The digital solution cases in the platform cover the entire gamut of the agri-food system, including farming, aquaculture, markets and prices, value chain and supply chain, rural services and e-government services serving rural communities. So how about we get more details from the following report?
Welcome to the Digital Village Initiative Knowledge Exchange, an exciting regional platform featuring a large database of digital innovations covering agriculture, food systems, and rural communities. The DVI Knowledge Exchange helps you access hundreds of examples of successful digital innovations organized by subject matter, country, delivery mode, and more. The platform offers navigation and search options that help you access digital solutions and initiatives in your subject area or country of interest. This demonstration will show you how to navigate this platform and find specific digital solutions in easy-to-follow steps. Let's get started. You access the DVI Knowledge Exchange platform from the Digital Village Initiative website. We recommend using the Chrome browser for best results. On the DVI KE landing page, you can access the data in two ways, either directly from the map or through one of the three menu options where the data is stored. All data in the platform is stored under Digital Solutions, Digital Initiatives, and Digital Villages. You can navigate under each of these categories by country or subject matter. From the landing page, scroll down to the map and click on the country pin of your choice, say Indonesia. This opens a tab for Indonesia with the three data options to explore. Click on the Digital Solutions line. This takes you to the Digital Solutions page listing all available digital solutions in the selected country. Let's say you want to check digital solutions related to digital aquaculture. From Digital Solution Type, select Digital Aquaculture and click on Filter button. A list of all digital solutions related to aquaculture will appear. Select a digital solution by clicking on the highlighted title, say e-Fishery. This takes you to the full record of this digital solution. You can read about this successful automatic feeding machine supported by IoT and sensors and controlled remotely by the farmer through mobile phone. The record also provides links to digital villages using the technology and other useful resources. To return to the home page, simply click on the FAO logo located on the top left of the page. Another way to explore the digital solution data set, simply click on Digital Solutions tag on the top left menu of data options. This takes you to the main Digital Solutions page. You can search by using keywords such as rice or shrimp or weather forecasting. You can also search along the advanced search bar located just under the search bar. Click on the advanced search bar, then point the cursor to Country cell. Select a country, say Pakistan, and click on the Filter button. Next, select by Digital Solution category and subcategory. Point to Digital Solution type and type or select from the drop-down, say IoT Sensor-Controlled Water Management. Then, click on Filter. The Digital Solutions records in this category will appear, and you can select the specific digital solution of your interest and access its record. Another search option under Digital Solutions page is to keep all countries, but select from Digital Solution type and select, say, Value Chain Traceability. For example, you can select the Animal Identification and Registration System, AIRS, from Mongolia, and scroll through the information page from this highly successful innovation for livestock in Mongolia. Again, you return to the home page by just clicking the FAO logo on the top left. Similar easy steps can be followed to search among the Digital Initiatives dataset. Click on the left side menu option, Digital Initiatives. From the main page of Digital Initiatives, click on Advanced Search and click on Country button, select India and click on the filter. Select the record AgriStack, an initiative to develop the agri-tech ecosystem managed by the Ministry of Government, the state governments, and involving registered farmers and agri-tech services providers. Return to the homepage by clicking on the FAO logo. We can now explore the examples of digital villages in the dataset. We start the navigation from the map. Click on the pin for China. Then, click on the Digital Villages row under China. Click on Longshan Village, home to an advanced sustainable fish rice production system, and access the Digital Village information page. Return to the home page and click on the Digital Villages line. You can repeat the same for other countries, with examples of digital villages in the dataset. The DVI Knowledge Exchange will continue to expand the database of solutions and add new information and data records from Asia and the Pacific, and eventually, globally. The DVI Knowledge Exchange is an open platform to all who can contribute relevant and new solutions, initiatives, or innovations. Interested contributors are invited to download the templates listed in the platforms pages and send proposals and ideas to FAO at rap-dvi@fao.org.
We are back to our show again. Good morning, Kuwait. We're moving for our next interview segment. We'll talk about the autoimmune disease result when your immune system is overactive, causing it to attack and damage your body's own already we call it the issues. Normally your immune system creates proteins called antibodies that already work to protect you against harmful substances such as viruses, cancer cells, and even toxins. But with autoimmune disorder, your immune system cannot tell the difference between the invaders and even the healthy cells. To know more about the most permanent types of immune diseases, their symptoms, and even treatment methods, we are pleased to have with us today Dr. Mohammed Khudada. He's the Specialist Internal Medicine Rheumatology. Hello, doctor, and good morning.
Good morning to you, Aziz. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for this very nice introduction, actually.
You're most welcome, and thank you so much for joining us on our show. Good morning, Kuwait. I would like to thank the producer for providing such good introduction. But today we are investing, doctor, you are with us in the studio, and this is your show actually. You've been here a couple of times. We'll talk about the most, like we say, common immune diseases happening now in the people.
In the introduction, you've shared some really important and very insightful information. So it's basically your own body, the system that protects your body from foreign invaders starts to go haywire, or let's say doing some extra work, so it attacks its own cells, and it's not one specific organ. It can attack any organ. And we all think about, or we think it's autoimmune conditions for rheumatology and things like that. But actually, other diseases like diabetes type 1 in the young people is an autoimmune disease. Thyroid conditions also, everybody have heard of hypothyroidism, is an autoimmune condition. So it's not one organ, it's multiple organs. It can be anything and everything that can be affected. The good thing is not every disease is a common disease, so some of them, if not the majority, are quite rare.
Nice. So this is very important for you, Doctor. Thank you so much for elaborating to the viewers. So now we'll talk more about the specific kind of immune disorder, which we'll talk about first of all lupus.
Lupus, yes. So lupus comes from the word lupo or lupus, which means a wolf. So it was first described in the 19th century. And the main symptoms or the problem is actually a rash on the face. And that's how it was first described. Again, it's an autoimmune. So auto means it's a self-replicating, immune because of the immune cells, the cells that we use to protect ourselves. The body starts producing proteins, antibodies. So antibodies against specific cells in our immune system. And what happens is that it creates this cascade of inflammation, destruction, and then the body tries to repair it, but it doesn't repair it in a very good way, and then you end up with either permanent damage or ongoing damage.
So this is what we talk about the lupus. So what about the treatment method, doctor? Like how to treat ourselves from lupus?
So with lupus, it depends on what organ is affected, and it can affect any organ. So it can affect all the way from the hair to the eyes to the skin. So people usually have what we call a butterfly rash. It's a rash that involves the nose and the bridge of the nose and the cheeks as well. It can affect the mouth. It can cause ulcers, joint pain. It can cause some life-threatening conditions affecting the kidneys. So depending on what's involved, we give medications. And usually the medications that we use for autoimmune conditions in general, we try to control the immune system. We try to bring down the extra activity of the immune system. So steroids or corticosteroids or cortisone, as well known in Kuwait and every other country, is the main treatment that we use. We use it in short courses or a very long course. And then we have medications that we can use to give you that benefit of the cortisone without the side effects of the cortisone.
This is like we talk more about the lupus and about the, we call it the symptoms and even the treatment. We talk about the Sjogren. Right? Sjogren.
Yes.
It's kind of the a common disorder happens to the immune system. Can you elaborate more about Sjogren, doctor?
So Sjogren is less common than lupus, but they can coexist. Sjogren is another autoimmune condition, but this one, the target or the main target in the body is the moisture-producing cells. So the cells that produce tears. The cells that produce the saliva. So commonly the patients will complain of dry eyes, dry mouth. They can have ulcers, they can have poor dental hygiene, gingivitis because of the dry mouth. It can also affect the skin, the joints and everything else, but to a lesser degree as well. So the majority of the complaints would be dryness, even in the skin. Now, when we talk about treatment for Sjogren's, we don't use immunomodulators or suppressants like steroids and the other medications quite often, unless there is a really major organ being involved. So, for instance, if it's attacking the kidneys, or if it's attacking the lungs, or attacking the liver, then we have to give strong medications. Otherwise, we use teardrops, gels to rehydrate the eyes, and gels to rehydrate the mouth as well, and some other, let's say, conservative methods. So, advice to the patients to not drink a lot of coffee or tea, stop smoking if they're a smoker, because that makes it worse. Some medications to avoid if you have Sjogren, because they can make the mouth drier.
And also in addition, doctor, this is like we talk about we call it the disease as well. So what about the symptoms? Like you mentioned some of the symptoms of Sjogren, and it's less. But what is the main symptoms? Like if I saw this person, I know he suffered from Sjogren.
So because of the dry eyes is basically the main complaint.
Yeah.
But dry eyes is quite common. So and not everybody with a dry eye has Sjogren. That's really important to point out. Dry eyes usually happens because of many reasons. One of them is too much screen time, reduced blinking rate.
Okay.
If you've had a surgery to the eye, LASIK surgery for example, if you're taking drugs or medications for allergies, the antihistamines, Zyrtec and those ones, they can cause dry eyes. So when we actually rule out all of these things, we can say you might have Sjogren's.
Okay.
And typically the patient or the person will complain of dry eyes in the morning when they wake up. So they'll feel like there's a gritty sensation, a sand grain inside of the eyelids. So something is always itching. It can lead to redness of the eye, and it can lead to ulceration of the lens as well, and causes infections in severe cases. Some patients might complain as well of dry mouth. So they'll say, I cannot swallow or I cannot eat anything without drinking water.
Sure.
And usually the majority will have poor dental problems or dentitions, so loose teeth, cavities, caries, and gingivitis is quite common in these patients. Yeah.
And also this will talk about the Sjogren. So what about the sarcoidosis, right? I pronounced it correctly?
Sarcoidosis.
Sarcoidosis.
Yes,
Because
yes.
in our show, Good Morning Kuwait, we're always learning something new, and especially the medicine profession. So what about this disorder?
So it's quite a rare disorder, but it is something that we see in clinics in rheumatology and also in pulmonology, so respiratory, chest diseases. Sarcoidosis is also an autoimmune condition, but it's a little bit different. So we get a cluster of immune cells, the ones that were supposed to help us. They cluster into something called a granuloma.
Okay.
And usually it affects the lungs more than anything else. So you can have a cough, shortness of breath, you can have scarring in the lung, or what we call it in medicine, fibrosis. So this replacement of healthy tissue with poor tissue that doesn't function as well. And then you can have effects on the joints. So you get joint pain as well, you can ankle pain and swelling. And some patients will have recurrent inflammation in the eyes. Okay. So there is a certain condition called uveitis. So uveitis is basically the chamber of the eye where it gets inflamed. Patients will complain of pain, reduced or blurry vision, they cannot see very well, and it might be red as well. So the entire white area of the eye can be red in those patients. And usually it happens in both eyes.
Both eyes?
Yeah, it's not very common to have this condition in both eyes. So whenever we see both eyes involved, we know that there might be something behind it, and we have to look for things like sarcoidosis, for example.
So what about this? We'll talk about the disease and the symptoms. So what about the treatment, doctor?
Again, since it's an autoimmune condition, the treatment is quite similar. Steroids, corticosteroids, cortisone is one simple and very reliable treatment method. And then we go to the medications that we call them steroid-sparing medications. We want to give you the benefit of controlling your immune system without the side effects of steroids. And usually we have to give it for some, let's say, a good amount of time. So it's not a course that you take for a month or two. It will be more than 6 to 12 months.
Right. And today, like, you know, because the producers, they are like to give us like too many to talk about different kind of disorders.
That's totally
so
fine.
Today we'll talk about all the medicine professions, like the myositis, the MUOS.
Myositis.
Myositis.
So myositis, a myocyte is the basic cell that builds the muscle.
Okay.
So myositis means inflammation. So anything with an itis, itis is inflammation.
Inflammation.
So myositis is inflammation of the muscles, and inflammation of the muscle can be immune. So because of the your immune system attacking the muscles, attacking the cells around the blood vessels in the muscles as well. And the way it presents or translates, the patient will complain of pain, aches in the muscle, and weakness. Because if we have poor muscles or a muscle that is inflamed, you will not be able to function as well as someone who's healthy. So the main problem is muscle weakness. The thing is, we always think of muscles as the arms, legs, but we do have muscles in the gut as well, in the esophagus, in the gullet, and we have muscles around the heart itself is a muscle. So it can affect, in severe cases, the swallowing of the patient, and it also can lead to inflammation of the heart as well.
Is it like similar to hyperomyalgia or different?
Oh, that's a very nice question. So fibromyalgia, I think is what you mean. Fibromyalgia can coexist with these medications, with these conditions, and that's quite, let's say, a difficult scenario when you come to a patient where they actually have pain because of an autoimmune condition, but then you've treated that, but they still have the pain.
Yes.
Here you have to think about fibromyalgia as a cause, and it can coexist. It's not quite easy to diagnose. It's a challenging scenario, but it is diagnosable, it is manageable as well, so we can manage it.
That's why, doctor, like a person as you and all people working in the rheumatology, we are very proud of you for how you are comforting your patients all the time, to stay always on duty just for the sake for the others.
Thank you very much, inshallah. It's our duty actually, so thank you very much for this.
Special thanks and appreciation to our guest, Dr. Mohammed Khudada. He's the specialist in internal medicine and rheumatology. Now let's go to this tiny break, then we continue our show, Good Morning Kuwait. So be with us.
Dear viewers, since we are in the summer and vacation season, let us get to know the best films in cinema, Abdulaziz.
So sure, let's watch the top 5 movies in the box office. So let's watch it together.
شو بيعتني فيهم؟
احنا بنتساعد ان شاء الله والامور سهلات. علي
ويلكم تو ذا دبليو بي ابو ظبي يا فندم. في ريزرفيشنز؟
اي باسم راشد الحذامي.
للاسف يا فندم احنا فولي بوكت.
احنا اول والاخر ناس يسافرون مع عيالهم بدون شغله.
علي
ليش يكسرون ناسين شيء؟ مريم محمد بعدين ترى كلها 3 ايام، ما تقدر تحمل عيالك 3 ايام. والزحمه.
I don't want to drown. Stay calm. Shark! What do we do now? Just hang on. I just want to get out of here. What's going on? Behind you!
This is a violent land, steeped in blood.
Revenge. We die as warriors.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
All right.
I'll meet you right here before the sun sets behind that hill.
It was good to see you.
You're late!
Sorry, I lost track of time.
Are we safe?
Yes.
Are we secure?
Yes. Thank you for this food we are about to receive.
Thank you for bringing us together as a family.
be watching. We can't afford to lose to the Russians. We need to shoot the backup version of the moon landing.
You mean to fake it? No one can ever know what we're doing.
I cannot accept that.
They will shoot you.
What is my budget?
Oh.
I think we should have gotten Kubrick.
Dear viewers, we reached the end of our episode for today. Hope you enjoyed our segment. See you next time and have a good day.
Dear viewers, pick your favorite movie and go to the cinema right away. From all of us of Good Morning Kuwait, we wish you a great weekend.